I'm going to be showing you guys this dress. So someone sent me this dress on Instagram to show her how to make the top part of the dress. So guys, I'm going to be making a video on that. So basically you have to draw out your pattern. Guys, you can just go ahead and cut your front bodies like how you normally cut. You can do this directly on a fabric, but just to explain it better, I'm trying to do it on a basic bodice. But remember, you can just go directly on your fabric, cut out your front bodice. I already made several videos on how to cut a basic bodice, right? You draw that out, and then with this basic bodice now we are going to cut the back. So first thing you're going to do is, so guys, just like this, you see I'm going to cut out this back neckline, right? And then I'm going to use this now, cut out my front bodice. Remember, you're going to give even your dart allowance and everything on this front bodice, and it's cut on a fold. So let me go ahead and trace out the front bodice, and then we'll come and talk about the back. So guys, you see now I've gone ahead and traced this out. You see my bodice, the front is here and it's on a fold. You see everything, this is on a fold for the front bodice, and I've not cut out the neckline. This is going to be the neckline in front. You can bring yours down a little bit more, like her own. You see her own is a little bit like 6 inches down from her neck, and then the back came down even more than that, probably like 9 or 10 inches down. So guys, what I did here is, after cutting my front bodice, I placed it this way. But you know how you put zip allowance for the back bodice? Instead of putting zip allowance, I added about extra 6 inches. Guys, this is just to manage the fabric, but if you want, you can extend yours, which it will not make a lot of sense to extend it so that you get the full length of the belt and then trace it in like an angle. It's better to just add like 6 inches here and then make a belt and attach it as an extension of this whatever room you made here, you understand? So it's better that way, instead of trying to cut the belt once and go down all the way. You'll be wasting a lot of fabric cutting it, if that makes sense. Like if I decide to angle it from here now, make a belt, from here make a belt, and then keep going down, how long will you go to get the amount of belt you will need? So it's better to shorten it and then use something else to attach at the end, cut the belt and sew down to make what you need. So guys, like I said, I added 6 inches extension here at my center back where I would normally have my zip allowance. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and follow this tracing. Guys, the back will not have a dart, but it is not going to have a dart at the back, but it's going to have a dart in front. So when I calculated the waist here, I did my waist measurement divided by 4 plus extra 2 inches, 1 inch of darting and 1 inch of side seam. It will not matter at the back because I'm going to be tying it. So even though I'm still using this pattern here and I'm not darting it at the back, it will not matter because it's going to go into the belt. So guys, all I'm going to do now is to use my chalk to trace out all the sides of this here. Trace out all the sides following the angle, my shoulder slope, the neckline, and then the center, which is here. So guys, I've marked out everything concerning this now. I'll remove it. So what I'm going to do now is for me to determine how low I want the back to go. So this is the peak of the neckline. This is here. So from this point now, I have to determine how low I want it to go. So if I want, I can go down by about 8 inches. So let's say I decide to go 8 inches. And then from the bottom part here, if you see her own, you will see that from the waist, it came in to the back a lot more. So from the side of the waist, it came in more. So let's say I decide to go about 5 inches from the side, before where I would normally have my darts, right? Because remember, as you're doing the 5 inches, there's still 1 inch that is going to go in as your side seam. Remember, if you take away like let's say this is your bodice now, when you go to mark it now, there's still 1 inch that will go into the seam allowance on the side. So with that in mind, you're going to put, let's say, 5 inches from the side, so that when you're done, it's going to be just 4 inches left, right? When you take away that 1 inch of side seam as you're sewing it, you'll be left with 4 inches at your back. If you want, you can extend it and make it 6 inches. It depends on you. If you want it a lot more covered, just the center of your back is what you want to be showing. So let's say you decide to do 6 inches, and then it depends on you how you want to curve it. So let's say you just decide to curve from here now, and then you just curve it out this way. And then from this this shoulder part again, you curve it out this way. and then from here you connect it up to your neckline like this. But guys, I would advise to, you see why I said narrow this end, and then when you're done you attach a belt. So now my belt is going to continue at this end here. So guys, this neckline here, I would advise to, instead of doing 3 inches of basic neckline, if you see her own is wider, so I might decide, instead of doing 3 inches that is your normal basic neckline that we used here, because when we cut this neckline we just did 3 inches, to make it wider, this is almost like a wide neckline. It's not a boat neck, but it's wide enough. So you might decide to do 3.5, meaning my neckline is going to start 0.5 away from here. So this is going to be my new neckline. So that means I'm also going to transfer the same thing on this one here. So meaning this here, I'm going to extend it here. Guys, if you want, you can do 4 inches. It all depends on you. So you see, this is now my bodice here all the way. So guys, let me cut the back out so you can see. Let me show you what I'm going to cut now. So from here, this is the back, the lower part, the upper part, going up to this here, and then down here, shoulder slope, armhole, and then side seam. That is what my back looks like. So guys, this is it here. So guys, right now, let me put it back so you guys can see. You see, if I put it back now, you see my shoulder part. This is the center. You see how much of the bottom part will be showing. But guys, if you don't want this bottom part here to be too high, you can still bring it up. I have about 3 inches up here, because remember, as from this center line now is going into the thigh, right? So the only part that will be showing in between your bra strap is still this center part. After this line now, we are going into the strap part. So all I have to do is just to make a belt, right? To make a belt and attach to this end here. Guys, you see why I said it's better to do it this way so that you can save enough fabric. So all I need to do is just to make a belt very long to extend, right? And just continue as my belt, instead of going ahead to cut my fabric and keep going with this. You'll be wasting a lot of fabric at the bottom and above. So that's basically it now for the body. So all you have to do now is just to go ahead, and for my front, I'm going to go ahead and cut out this armhole, extra armhole that you normally remove from the front armhole. This extra piece of 0.5 from your front armhole, because I only cut the back armhole, and then I'm going to reduce my front neckline. So guys, you see, I've removed that piece from the armhole and then reduced the neckline. So I did about 5 inches or 4.5 for my neckline. It depends on you what you want to do. So guys, now that we've done this, if I remove it, you see what my bodice looks like. So this is the front bodice here. Remember, like I said, you're cutting it on a fold. You don't need pattern really. You just have to cut your front bodice on your fabric, right? Once you cut it on your fabric, you can now use the front bodice to trace the back one. Because this pattern here was just so that you guys can see what the bodice looks like. I didn't draw this on the video because I didn't want to make it too long, but I already have a tutorial on how to draw a basic bodice, and I'll link it also. So guys, you see the back, what is going to look like. There's no dart in here. All you have to do is open it up this way, just the way it is, like this, and then you're going to put these two together on the shoulder. Guys, if you want, you can also line it, because the one on the thumbnail, if you look at it, you see it's lined, but as usual, I like to use bias for mine. So just join the shoulder to the shoulder, and then we are going to also cut out our sleeve, and then you pick your dart in front. There's no dart at the back, because if you see where you're supposed to pick the dart at the back is the part where this slant goes up. So there's no need of picking the dart for the back. So pick your front dart on the two sides, and then you're going to attach your sleeve. So guys, to calculate the tear part, the flay, you're going to subtract your shoulder to waist, this, which is the bodice part that we were talking about, this body part. So for me, the shoulder to waist for me was 17. So plus 1, which is 18. So the length you're going to use to cut yours out is going to be plus 1 of whatever you have as your shoulder to your half length, right? Because you need half an inch at the shoulder to join it, half an inch at the bottom. So that's why you have plus 1, which made it 18 for me, right, when I cut this. So for the second layer, it depends on you. Like I said, I'm going to be making mine short. I'm not making mine a maxi dress like the one the person sent me. I've made the maxi part several times. so I will not be making it maxi for this video. But guys, I'm going to explain to you how you're going to cut yours. It's still the same method, it's just that you're using a longer length. You can make this as short as you want or as long as you want. So this second part now, it depends on you what you want the length of your body to be. Whatever you decide to use for yours. Like I said, mine is going to be a short dress. Total length I'm working with is 38 inches. So I'm going to, this 38, if I minus this 17 from it, what I'm going to have is about 21 inches to share between my bottom part, because mine is a short dress below the knee, sorry, above the knee. But whatever your length is, let's say your own is 58, or because it's going to be 50 something, if you're making it up to your ankle, most times it's about 50 something or 50. So whatever the length is, depending on how tall you are, you subtract the shoulder to your waist, which is this one, this main bodice part. You subtract it from the total length you have, 50 something or what, or even if it's like me, the short one, you subtract it, whatever you get. For me, I have 21. You're going to add, you're going to now split that between the two layers, right? So it depends on you how long you want the first layer. This is our first layer, this is the second layer. It depends on how you want the length of the first layer to be. So for me, I want my first layer to be 12 inches, and then the second one is 9 inches, because I'm sharing 21 inches between the two of them. So it depends on you. If you're sharing, like, let's say 40 inches between the two, you can decide to make the first one 22 and then make the second one 18. It depends on you how you want to split it, right? If you want the first one to be longer, if you want the second one to be shorter, you can turn it around and make the first one shorter and then the lower one longer. It depends on you. So after that, the only basic thing here, the common thing here, is that you're going to add 1 inch to this one, and then to the lower one you're going to add 1.5. 1 inch to this one because you need half an inch to join it to the top and half an inch to join it to the bottom. 1.5 to the lower one because you need half an inch to join it to this here, and 1 inch to fold how you normally fold the edge of your clothes, because that's now the finishing of the clothes. So for me, that means my lower line is going to be about 10.5. My center line, when I cut it, is going to be about 13 inches. So that's basically the length I need to complete mine. So I split 21 inches between my bottom part because it's above the knee. The total length of my dress is going to be 38. So guys, so that's going to be how you calculate the length. So how you're going to calculate the width is just to, so guys, for the width, all you have to do is, you're going to calculate the width, all you have to do is just round your waist, round the waist here. That's the measurement you used here. For me, I used 34 and divided it by 4 to get mine. So whatever was your waist measurement, that's round this your half length. So for me, that's 34. I'm going to do times 2 of that. If you want, you can do times 2.5, depending on how much fabric you're working with. Guys, bear in mind that if you're trying to make this maxi dress, you might have to use about 5 yards or even 6 yards, depending on how gathered you want it to be. So, but I'm making a short one which is taking up almost 3 yards. Just call it 2.5 yards is what I'm using here, because I'm actually managing it. But a longer one, I can imagine, would take more fabric. So 34, whatever you get, that's going to be around 68 as the width of my fabric, right? So that's going to be the width of the first layer, because the first layer is attaching to the waist of my dress. Now the second layer is going to be attaching to the end of the first layer, which is going to be 38. Actually, just almost like the opening of this one. This first layer is attaching to the opening of my waist, and the opening of my waist is 34. You times it by 2 if you want to use times 2 gather, or if you want to use times 2.5 gather. So whatever you have left, you're going to use to calculate the second layer. You're going to times it by times 2 again, or times 2.5, whatever you're working with. So that means this 68 now, I'm going to do times 2 of it to get the width of my second layer, yeah. So that's going to be about 136 or so. It's going to be the width of my second layer. So that's the width of the fabric. That's how far I'm going to cut. So you're going to cut and join and join and join. So that's how you're going to do it. So that's basically the whole calculation. As you can see, I've done mine here. So this here is the layer, the first layer. And if you want to add a pocket to it, make sure that your first layer, you split it into 2, so that you can be able to put pocket there, and then you gather the waist to join the bodice. you can put just a basic pocket here, and then that's it. But the second layer, you see, this is a lot of cloth that I'm going to be joining to it here. You're going to gather all of them at the lower layer here to gather the bottom part to attach it. So that's basically it. So I'm going to go ahead and couple mine together and then show you guys how you're going to go about the sleeve. This is it here. This is the top part. So this is what I've done so far. I've gone ahead and joined the gathered part to the bottom. So guys, like I said before, you're going to split it into two. That is the second layer, this first layer here. You make sure you split into two so that one will go to the front. So you see my front bodice, I attached it to the front layer of my gather. You see my side seam here, and then the side seam of this gather here. So this is just my front panel here on the front part of the gather. So whatever you're using for your gather for the front panel, divide it into two, right? And then you gather it on the on this, whatever you're using for your gather on this layer, split it into two so you have the front and the back. There's no zip on this, right? So you just split it into two. One piece is for the front. You put your front panel on it. After picking your darts, you just join it to it. Now I'm going to turn it around so you guys can see the one for the back. So now the one for the back, what you're going to do is you're going to take another piece of cloth like this. Just cut out enough to go round to the end. I'll still join something to this, and then you're going to make a casing for elastic. So I'm going to fold it this way. This is about 4 inches of width, and then whatever length you have here is what you're going to use as the length here to get to the end. So you're going to join it to this here and make a casing for the elastic. It depends on the size of elastic you're using. So you're going to make a casing that will be for the elastic. So this is my sleeve. All you have to do is just to cut something rectangular and that is more than your sleeve width. You can do your armhole times 2, or not times 2, times 1.5. Your armhole, round your armhole times 1.5, so that you have enough to gather it, and then you just shape it in this form. And then this edge here, this straight line part of it is going to be the part where you're going to fold. So you see the one I've done already. This is just the edge. The straight part is the edge of the sleeve, and then this curved part is going to be attached to the body of the sleeve. So you see the end here. So all I have to do now is just to close up this side. All I have to do is, you see, I've joined this here. I don't want my pleat to go all the way to the end. If you want to pleat yours all the way to the end, so I just pleated mine just at the tip of the shoulder. But if you want more than that, then you can do times 2 of your armhole. That way the pleats can go all the way to the end. So after that, you're just going to close up the side, right? So you see, I've also gone ahead and used bias to finish mine. So I used bias to line the bottom on this side, used bias to line round the neckline, and came back to the other side. So guys, now all I have to do is just to go ahead and put my sleeve on this other side too, and then I'm going to show you guys how you're going to finish the end after you put in your elastic casing. Now I'm going to show you guys how to finish up the back. So this is what it looks like right now. So you see, we have our side seam in front. From the front, we also have the side seam at the back. This, if you look closely, you'll see the front is attached to the front gather, the back is attached to this one here. The back is just separate on its own, but I've passed my elastic inside of the casing that I made. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take this here. You see the side seam where you're supposed to close this together. You're going to take it, and then you're going to put the back, this one here. So you're going to take this here and put it in between here, and then put this one on top like this. So you're going to close it up this way. So you see, this elastic one is going to be, so let me show you. So you're going to take this. This is the front, join to the front. You see the part where the gather join to this. You're going to take this one, put it in here. The elastic, the one with the elastic case in the bottom of your clothes, and then you're going to top it up with the back panel. So this one is the back. You see where the back is, and then you see how it's going to connect to this section here. So once you attach it, you stretch this part out and sew this down so that you can be able to hold the back down. So once I close my side seam, the only seam again I'm going to make is just to stretch out my elastic underneath the line where the casing is. I'm going to sew down my back panel, this black part of it, right? That's the lowest part of it. Sew it down into that elastic. just so I can be able to hold it down, if that makes sense. Let me explain it again on this side. So you see the waist of the front panel, this is the back, the waist of the front panel. You take the side, you put the elastic to close up first, and then you take this one and insert it inside of this here, this way. So third layer, that's the back panel. And then after that, you're going to take this and sew the stitch underneath here. So you're going to sew this to join to this. So I'm going to do mine and show you guys. So guys, this is it here. I've joined it here. So this is what the back looks like here. So like I said, you're going to sew this down inside. If you want, even at the top self, you can come back and sew it also on the top. If you feel like the one you used to hold it at the bottom is not enough, just come up again at top of this elastic and hold it down, but that is okay. And then this is how it ties at the back. So guys, that's basically it. How I made this extension is just cut out the belt you want to use and join it to the edge of that strap, the edge of that pointy part of the top, and that's it. So this is it here. You see my 2 layer. Guys, to make the longer one is not an issue. You can always make it longer. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.